is to be your very best.
Hello everybody, welcome to Education for Life. Today I'm going to talk about the balance sheet of life. I believe that I'm the first person in the world to have designed a balance sheet of a human being. Most people have heard of the financial balance sheet, which is about your assets and your liabilities. And one of the aims of business is to improve your balance sheet. Means that you're keeping score whether you're going up or you're going down. Assets is the money that you have, the stocks you have in your business, and also properties, equipment. This is on the asset side. And the liabilities include any loans you may have with the banks, any of your creditors that you owe money to. So that's the liability side. And the assets minus the liabilities is your net balance. That's why they call it the financial balance sheet. So the funny thing about this whole system of money, what they call capitalism, is that you and I, the people, we don't even appear on the balance sheet, which is very, very surprising. As we all know, every business is dependent on the person, the people running the business, that makes the business viable, makes it sustainable, and make it profitable. So I got to thinking, many years ago, nearly 50 years ago, I started thinking about this whole thing. And then I decided, about 20 odd years ago, I decided to design a balance sheet for people. I call it the balance sheet of life. And it is the same thing. We have assets and we have liabilities. Only this time, your assets is what we call your intangible value. The intangible assets that you and I have include your talents, the skills that you have, and what we call the intangible wealth. Intangible assets are love, faith, hope, happiness, all these invisible things. I think that's probably why no one has designed a balance sheet of life, because the financial balance sheet of life is about tangible assets. But in people, in human beings, it's both about tangible and intangible. The tangible asset is our hands, our legs, our mind, our body. That's the tangible part, the physical part. And then the intangible part is the mental part and the spiritual part, which we all have. Like I call talents our spiritual skills, because when you were born, we were born with these talents. No one gave it to us. We didn't inherit it from our parents. It is just born in us. That's why I call it the spiritual skills and spiritual assets. So on the asset side, we have all these intangibles and tangible, like wisdom. On the other side, the liability side, which we all have, is fear, doubt. When we say we can't do this, we can't do that, we fear failure. A lot of people fear failure. That's the intangible. Fear, if we fear something, we're not likely to make use of all our talents and all our assets, because we fear failing, and we fear this and that. And then on the other sides of the intangibles, on the liability side, procrastination, hatred, jealousy, all these negative things. The Bible calls these things sin. This is the negative side. So every person has positive and negative. And we now in coaching circles, we call the liability side self-one. This is how we've been molded in life. Self-two is your potential, your talents and all this type of thing that is in you to be developed. So that is self-two. So unfortunately for most of us, self-one is dominating us. The fear of this and the fear of that, procrastination, that we won't do what we say we're going to do, selfishness and all these other things. So that is what is hindering our development as a human being. If you're full of these negative things, you cannot develop. If your self-one is controlling you, you're not going to be fully developed to your full potential. But if you allow self-2 to dominate, I can, the positive side of you. I can do this, I can do anything in life, I have every resources, no excuses, no blaming this, blaming that. We get on with the business of life. So if self-2 is in charge, you are likely to really develop your full potential because you have this belief that you can. And it is the belief of your potential that will bring you up to your very best to draw out your full potential in life. So I think it's very important that you do that, to look at yourself. Who is in charge, self-1 or self-2? If self-1 is in charge, as in most people, then you need to change over to self-2 and let self-2 take over your life. It's not that easy, of course. And I mean, a lot of Christians and a lot of people go to the church, they call it born again. All it means is, in my interpretation of this whole thing, is born again means shifting from self-1 to self-2 and let self-2 control your life. So in human development, the viable person is self-2 is controlling his life. He's leading the way. There's no doubt that he can do whatever he wants to do. There's no doubt whatsoever. And I think in the field of human development, the balance sheet of life is probably the most important. And I too have a system of awarding points in the balance sheet of life. If you're using, like, let's say discipline, we all have discipline. And when people say, I don't have discipline, it's not true. You have discipline, but you don't use it. That's why we have happiness, we have talent, we have all these things. But on the negative side, we also have hatred and jealousy and all the negativity around us. So it depends on what you use. If you choose to use the good things, then the good things will come in your life. If you choose to use the bad things will come in your life, because, as they say, you always reap what you sow in your mind. So it depends what's in your mind. What is your dominant thoughts every day, whether you can or you cannot. So in human development, if you are to succeed in life, to develop to your full potential, you really need to switch over and let your positive side take over your life. And you will see the results will be amazing. And we are in HDI, we're in the field of human development to develop the full person. But you can develop self-2 or self-1. Self-1 is not going to get you anywhere. You're going to bring a lot of problems into your life. And really, I call self-1, that is where poverty is. If you want to be prosperous in life, you need to shift over to self-2, the positive side. That will bring out your full potential, and then you will find out the meaning of living a prosperous life. Thank you very much for listening. And you can do this. Anyone can do this. Don't think that you need a degree, a university degree, you need a lot of money to change over from self-1 to self-2. Anybody can change over. You just got to make up your mind what type of a life you want to live, and you can do this. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.